This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
Leaving home was a subject duly discussed in most accounts of the journey west. Many would never again see those family members and friends left behind. The occasion was usually a somber one, with emotions running high and tears being shed. A description of a typical scene was related in Catherine Scott Colburn's Recollections. 38 years after the 1852 journey west from her home in Tazewell County in northern Illinois, she wrote, "Silently weeping women and sobbing children, and an aged grandfather standing at his gate as the wagons filed past, one trembling hand shading his eyes, the other grasping a red handkerchief. 'Goodbye, goodbye,' say the children, with flushed, tear-stained faces, grouped at the openings in the wagon cover. The old grandsire's response was choked with emotion and drowned in the creaking of the wagons." In Sangamon County, Illinois, 16 miles south of Springfield, Mary Ann began her story of their westward journey in a similar vein, relating her thoughts and emotions on the day of departure. "I will try, in a way, and a poor one at that, to give a few outlines of our journey across the plains and the last day at my home that I loved so dear. It was the morning of the 29th day of March in the year of 1852 that had been set for our start on the long and unconsidered journey to a land of prosperity and gold, the greed of all mankind, more precious than all else on earth. The sun shone with as much luster and beauty as though no sorrow could ever enter our long journey. That day was my brother William's 22nd birthday. He was alive with the thought that the time had come for our departure, as were my husband and his brother John Boatman. We were to be as one family, all equal owners in team and provisions. For me there was no joy, as I had always loved my home and parents so dear, and had known nothing of the hardships of a long journey. But I was easily assured that it was the best thing for us all. My father and mother, being of a favorable spirit, thought it the proper thing for us to do, saying if we liked the country, they would soon follow us. The hour had come, and the oxen, yoked and hitched to the big wagon, drove up in front of the gate that I had opened and passed through from childhood to womanhood. I tried to think it was for the best, and leave the impression in my mother's mind that I would be a woman in my departure and not a child. So we all went to work loading our worldly belongings in the oxmobile, bedding, clothing, cooking utensils, provisions enough to last 6 months, medicine, in fact, everything for the comfort of a long journey, except preparation for death, but it came when it was least expected. About 10 o'clock everything was loaded into the big ox wagon. Then came the hardest task of all for me, to say goodbye. But the time had come, a loving embrace, a farewell kiss, a God bless you all. Yes, I stepped out of that dear old house that had been my home all of my life, never to enter it again, nor to see my loving mother again. In a year and 2 months she would be called to abide in a home beyond, where no sorrow, pain, or death are known, to meet her loved ones that had gone on before. Yes, as I said, the time had come. I walked out over the path that I had trod all my short life, where I had sported and played with my brothers and sisters and schoolmates. Everything looked so dear to me on that morning. Dear Father opened the old gate for me, then helped me climb into the big wagon. Then came the words, "Gee, whoa, get up, Deacon, Dime, Buck, and Bright." Those were the oxen's names. The whip cracked, and we were off. A successful journey depended largely on having the proper equipment. The wagon, of course, was the major item needed for the trip. They varied greatly in design, displaying the innovative nature of the American frontiersman. The Conestoga wagon, manufactured in Pennsylvania, was regarded as the Cadillac of wagons, as it was light in weight and sturdily built with high wheels. However, most travelers used wagons that were some variation of those employed around the farm, having been modified to haul sufficient supplies for the 6-month trip and serve as living quarters with sleeping arrangements and general shelter from the elements.